Hey guys, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. Sorry it's been a little while since I brought you a video on EVE. I've been trying to break the rather saturated League of Legends YouTube video market. Suffice to say it's not been going very well so far. So obviously I appreciate you guys. If you're on this video, you're into EVE Online, probably not into League of Legends. But any support you can go and show me on those videos would be hugely appreciated. Would really mean a lot. Keep my enthusiasm for YouTube, and I'll bring you more videos going in the future. Anyway, let's crack on with this one, EVE Online. Today I'm bringing you the follow-up to my first video in my PI series. This one we're going to go from Tier 1 to Tier 2 Planetary interaction. It was pointed out in my last video that for exactly the moment that I talked about the skills required for PI, that my audio cut out. Huge apologies for that, but I'll cover that now so that hopefully we don't have any problems, and then we'll dive into T2 PI in a second. So just to cover the skills real quick, let me open up the skills you want to look for, all in nicely contained in Planet Management section. Most important, command center upgrades. As quick, if you're serious about doing PI, as quick as you can get that to 5. This determines how much you can build on a single planet, including links and upgrades and things that I cover in my previous video. So I cover that a little bit in that one, but basically everything you build requires power, CPU, and power grid, like fitting your ship. The higher you have command center upgrades, the more you can build on your planets. That's vital. After that, you want interplanetary consolidation. This is the number of planets you can build on. I currently have it to just level 4, which means I can build on 5 planets. The maximum is 6 planets. So whatever you get that to whatever you require. Then you want remote sensing. Just get a few levels in there. Basically, it just allows you to scan a planet from further away. I've got it level 3 and I've never found I needed it higher than that. Similarly, planetology. This is the resolution of the scanning on the planet we did. We'll do it again in a minute, but you'll see that in the first video as well, where you get the coloured hotspots and cold spots where there's no minerals, where there's lots of minerals. That's the resolution of that is with this planetology skill. I've never seen anyone take this above level 4. There's quite a lot of YouTube videos on PI. I've never seen anyone take it above level 4, and therefore advanced planetology, which is just that to a higher level, as far as I can tell, it's pointless. I've never bothered with it. That's my 2 cents on that. And then there's just one other which is quite important, especially for high sec, is in trade. You have this skill called Customs Code Expertise. This reduces the tax you'll pay at the customs office. So those huge taxes that players can put on, which are then compounded further by NPC tax, you can reduce the NPC tax on the customs office here, and so not eat so heavily into your profit margin. I've taken it to 4 so far. If you've got the time, take it to 5, because that obviously anything you can knock down on that helps your profit margin out. So that's the skills. Sorry about that, the mistake in the previous video. We've covered it now, and then let's just get straight to where my planets are. So, also just to quickly recap, in the first video I showed you eveplanets.com. Let me flick to there now. And we were going to build robotics. You can see that here in the schema. In the first video I put noble metals on my planet to produce precious metals. So from that we can see the T2 thing we want to build, which is this tier, is mechanical parts. So we're going to need reactive metals with my precious metals to make mechanical parts. So we want to extract base metals. Now off camera I have already started my base metals planet to produce T1 base metals, because we now know from my first video how to go from T0 to T1. You don't want to watch me do that again. It's another 10 minutes of boring for you to watch, so I've done that off camera. and we will just quickly have a look at that planet and how it currently looks. So it is my barren planet, you can see in here, base metals going into reactive metals over here. So let's view that and just see what we've got. Same as before, lots of extractors heads all pointing over where the hotspot was and still is, all halves of just one thing. That one thing is being taken into my storage unit, which is currently empty because I'm logged in for a couple of days. The storage unit is then filtered over to the 4 basic industry facilities that are all producing reactive metals, which are then shipped to the launch pad. So what we're going to do now, let me start extraction just so that it's running in the background, hit submit as always, is we want to produce T2. We want mechanical parts, so go to the build and you want the advanced industry facility, and just like the basic facility you place them on the surface. We'll start with 2, and we then need to link. Do I need to drop this? Create link, because I can't see anything. Link to there, link to there, submit. So what I'm going to start by doing is, because we set this planet up as a T1 planet, so everything was routed into the launch pad. What I'm actually going to do now instead is route them, so delete the route and then route them back to the storage facility, because I don't want them in the launch pad anymore. I want them in my storage facility so that I can then send them to the advanced processing. So I'll just do that for these 4, routed, delete route, create route, storage facility, create route, and the last one, routed, delete route, create route, storage facility, create route. Alright, and also, because these are now all at the launch pad, you can do a thing called an expedited transfer. I just need to remember how to do it. If you go into the storage, you can click down here at expedited transfer. So that means I have to click submit on everything I've done so far. But basically this is a one-off movement. You can chunk as much stuff as you'd like from one destination to another. So we're going to choose the storage facility. We're going to route everything by just clicking add, clicking execute, and so you can, it's just like a one-time thing. You can do up to 10,000 units, but I won't be able to do it again for 4 hours. Execute transfer. So that's now over there. Okay, now that all the links are set up, all the routes exist as before, we want to, as we did earlier, input the schemas, but this time for the tier 2 things, right? So you got the whole list of tier 2, and also these are the same facilities for tier 3. So we want mechanical parts, so we find mechanical parts and install. And we're then going to route the product, the result, to the launch pad. Create route. So now we just have mechanical parts from both of these installed and going to the launch pad. Create route. Done. And then the next thing is to route our reactive metals. So base metals are the raw resource that are going to these facilities. We want our reactive metals to go into these facilities. And now so we know these take 30 minutes to cycle. These take an hour to cycle. Okay, so the input, let me just have a look. We can go products, sorry, there we are. So the input for mechanical parts, you can see here, is 40 reactive metals and 40 precious metals. So we'll cover that in a minute. We need to go and get our other T1 resource from our other planet, drop it off here. But basically, 40 units from this planet are required for one cycle over here, and this outputs 20 units per cycle, so 1 hour of this will then feed that. And that's why if you've got 4 here, you can have, how many can you have? Is it 2 or 4? If every hour this is producing 40, that will feed 1, so we can have 4. So we're going to. Let's build 4. No, I'll leave it at 2 for now, because I have to ship things across. But we need to then go here and route the products. So routes, reactive metals, create route, go to there, create route, and then same again, routes, reactive metals, create route, go to there, create route. Okay, so now on this planet everything is set up. You can see the route has already sent 40 reactive metals into each of these, but they are having to wait for the precious metals. So what we will do, we'll submit that. Always hit submit, very important, very annoying if you forget to do that. Go back to our ship. I'm in my Orca at the moment because my PI ship is in a different system, but just to so you're aware, I think I mentioned it in the last video, I think it's the Cryos. Where's the ship tree? Calente. Industrials, we want, it's the Plasmos, is shipboard, epithal, is planetary commodity. Okay, so the epithal is the ship. You can do this in obviously much cheaper than an Orca. It's got the planetary commodity hold capacity, and a whole separate hold, so attributes here, planetary, there you go, 45,000 meters cubed, and if you skill into it, it goes up by 10% every time. So that's the best ship for PI, the epithal. I don't have it here, so I'm just going to go out my Orca and do it. Take a while to warp there and things, but you know. So we're going to warp to the other planet and pick up our materials. And here you'll see how expensive the taxes are and how much this eats into your profit. There we go. Kill that in a second. Industry, planetary production. My plasma planet, warp to within. Oh, and the customs office, warp to within 0. Now, this symbol comes up if even just one element of your planet isn't working. So at the moment I don't have my extractors running on this planet, and I'll set them going in a second. But on this one, because we're waiting for the materials for this one, that's why that symbol's there. So while we're on our way, we'll just view this planet, so we can have a look at what we did before. This is our lovely plasma planet, all looks nice. Let me set another scan going. See, so that has shifted slightly, so we're just going to pull this across. We're going to do it very quickly and coarsely because I'm recording a video and you guys don't want to watch me do this for ages. So rough and ready. And the last one. Lovely. Start extraction. Submit. Oh, got to keep an eye on that. But we should have arrived at the customs office. We can access customs office, you just, to do that, that was right click on the customs office itself, and then you get access customs office comes up at the bottom. You can see this guy is owned by Omega and Friends Media Labs, so there will be a fairly substantial cost involved. Providing you've put your materials into the launch pad, you can see them here in the customs office. So my launch pad, and here is my materials. If I want to bring them off the planet, all you do, drag them into the customs office. Right? And you can see here, if I now transfer, which will send them up to the customs office, that will cost me 670,000. Right? So hit transfer. They're now off the planet. They're in the customs office, and you can just pull them to your cargo hold. It says the estimated value is currently 7.7 million. So take out 670, they're worth just over 7 million, right? I now fly to so we've lost close to 10%, maybe 8%, so that's actually much better than I was expecting, but let's say 8% for the time being. If we then warp to our other planet to drop these materials off, customs office, warp to within 0, we get stung again, sending them down, but I think slightly less money. And then obviously when we want to pull our T2 products up from that planet, we get stung yet again with more tax. So yeah, this is having for T2 production, having it spread over 2 planets isn't particularly efficient. It's A, time consuming, and B, you get hit by tax. We've done it this way to optimize the extraction, so we can get the most noble metals from a plasma planet, and we can get the most base metals from a barren planet. That's why we've done it this way on this occasion. In the next video, where we will, so ideally obviously I'll go to T3 in the next video, but what I might do instead is, because to get to T3 I'll have had to set up 2 more of these, so because I need to produce 2 T2s to get to a T3. What I'll try and do is see if I can do a single planet T2 production, which is possible. You can even do a single planet T3 production for certain products, but we'll do a single planet T2 production just to show you guys how that can be done, and it can be more efficient in terms of tax and time. So we've arrived at our other planet. We're going to access the customs office. We're going to drop these into the customs office. We're going to drag them down to the launch pad. This time it's going to cost half as much, with 335. That puts us at $1 million so far. Transfer that down. You can see it just appeared in here now. Cancel that for a second. Obviously I'm in quite an expensive ship, so I want to stay here for as little time as possible. So I am just going to, the nice thing is you don't have to stay in space. So I'm going to just head back. I've suddenly forgotten the system, the station I live in. That was 8. And then while we're docking, we can go view that planet. Kill this. And you can see now in our launch pad, we've got our precious metals. This is where the expedited transfer would have been, if I'd been more efficient and set up properly. I shouldn't have done the expedited transfer, because this is now when you need it, because you've got to transfer your other goods over to the cargo hold. So what I'm going to do for the what you should do is hit expedited transfer, do that like we did before, and we want to transfer that to there. If I hit execute, it shouldn't let me. There you go, won't let me. So that's what you should do, as we did earlier. what I'm going to do in this circumstance, just to try and get the video going, so I can get the production up and running, is I can create a route from my launch pad into each facility, and as soon as I hit submit, because they're now
docking permission
set up,
requested.
you can see I'm
Docking
docking up what's
request
happening.
accepted.
As soon as I hit submit, they'll run. So temporarily I'm going to have them running from my launch pad into these, and that's it. We now have running our extractor on 2 planets, our T1 facilities on 2 planets, and then our T2 facilities running over here, taking an hour per cycle. Off camera, I'm going to add 2 more facilities to try and optimize the production, because as I said, this produces 20 per 30 minutes, which is 40 per hour. Each one of these uses 40 per hour, which means we can put 4 down, because we've also got 4 of these on the other planet. This is where I mentioned the skills at the start of the video. This is where you really want the skills, because if I show you, if I can advance industry facility again, place it down here. Right, these are all costing power and CPU. If you didn't have command center upgrades maxed out, you wouldn't be able to. You'd be down here somewhere on power load, because it goes up in sort of just 5 stages, so like bing, 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 bing. Right, so if you didn't have 4, you couldn't do this now. So this is very important. This is why you need command center upgrades maxed out as soon as you can. But there it is. I'll finish off these off camera, but for the time being, thanks very much for watching, guys. If you're not already and you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. To all my subscribers so far, thank you very much. If you like the video, please give it a like. We'll be carrying on the series eventually with T3 production, but like I say, in the next video I think I'll do T2 on a single planet, and I will continue to bring you Angel combat sites. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry about the problems in the previous video. I hope you all are keeping safe during COVID-19. Nice one.